Hello and Happy New Year. I've got 6 great games coming up for you guys. A lot of them are going to be against Khador because there were 3 Khador players that came over yesterday. Oh, and I got 6 games in yesterday. That is absolutely nuts. Started at 7:30 in the morning, played till about 8 in the evening. A lot of great games, a lot of fun people to play with, a lot of cool stuff. There's going to be a little bit of Legion thrown in because I picked Legion up. Don't know how to play them yet, playing them very poorly. Hopefully you guys can help me out. I'll talk about that more in the Legion game. And also, if I didn't say already, Happy New Year. I think I did, but it's worth saying twice because it is true. So what we have here, Harkevich, and he's got 2 of the victors, and the conquest is controlled by Malakov. And you guys have seen this before if you watched one of my previous games where we did the Pacific Rim. Well, there was no kaiju, but it was a colossal fest, basically. And I've got my Vyros 2 list that you guys are all pretty aware of. He went first and ran up the board, and I moved a couple of my dudes before I took pictures. Basically, I'm going to try and just get up the board and leave nothing in his threat ranges for melee, and just be in a passive position and see what he does. Put up deceleration, put up kinetic field, prepare for some shots, spread my dudes out, because the Victor's AoE 5 incendiary shots are absolutely brutal and devastating. I'd really like to sneak Eiryss around his Colossals and shoot Harkevich. That would just, that would make my day. Not having to worry about mobility and other factors as such. Because one of the ways to beat Colossals is scenario. And if I can take away mobility, he really loses his scenario presence. Where he is right now, depending on where he goes next turn, he's going to have to contest my zone, this zone right here, with something every single turn. And what does he really have to give away? A couple of bad Santas that are in the back? No, not really. They're too slow even to get up here to contest it. And if he doesn't do that, I'm just going to, over the turns, win by contesting his zone and tying him down and scoring my scenarios that are available to me. And, there will be all kinds of attrition and things that open up. But that distinct little advantage that is already there, that he does not have throwaway pieces, is a really big deal in this matchup. And I would really like to leverage that with Eiryss. So that's why she's sneaking around the side. Harkevich is hiding behind his 2 victors over there. And I got to get around the side of him. So here we are. Now, he does something I do not approve of, but I can see where his thought was, and he's kind of new to this list, and there's a great importance on what each of those Colossals does, because you have 3 pieces, and each one of those 3 pieces is 33% of your army, and if you make a mistake with one of the Colossals, you just made a mistake with 33% of your army. Your big game picture, your positioning, it has to be even more perfect. There's no room for error when you're playing with 3 models. You have to really have a game plan, a set of solutions, and I think it's a good list, and he's a really good player. I think this was just a big game plan mistake. He sacrificed movement with all of his jacks, with all of his Colossals, and shot. And I'm the second player, and this is going to be my second turn. He killed Eiryss with a drift. He lit an Arcanist on fire. An Arcanist is going to burn. And, that's basically about it. So my plan is I want to kill his objective. I want to score the circle zone, my rectangle, and the other circle zone. I want to score 4 points, and I want to lock him in where he is. And I want to use my feet to lock him in where he is. Basically, he kills a Griffon, which he can't trample over. Another Griffon just slides right in behind him and locks him right there, so I can guarantee pretty much score something. And ideally, I'll prevent him from scoring his own zone, so then I just have so many options for scoring next turn. So that is more or less what I do. However, I had a boosted Discordia shot, a boosted Imperitus shot, and 2 boosted shots from Vyros 2 that I put into the objective, and I think my average roll on 3 dice on all of them was 7 or something. It really wasn't very good. There was a couple of, that's sads from the audience. The objective lived on 1. And I've got my stuff running all over the place. Arcanist unit on the right. They didn't need to hand out focus. They just ran, and they're going to score that zone. Arcanist unit on the left. Same deal. Run and score that zone. And I popped feet. There's a Gorgon right there on that Colossal on the left. And this is cruel because he's contesting that zone, and this Victor right here cannot actually reach him. That objective, he has nowhere to land. He has nowhere where he can go where he can get that Gorgon. And the Gorgon is preventing the other Victor from being able to... Basically, this Victor has to kill him, or they have to shoot him to death somehow, which that right there is an absolutely devastating move that I don't know what he does about that. I don't know how he gets out of that situation. The Victor that can't move by force lock from the Gorgon is just stuck there blocking the way of the other one. The house and the Gorgon's position and that objective is blocking the landing spot for the other one. If he kills that objective, I immediately win. So you can't... He doesn't have... Or sorry, no, I don't immediately win, but... Actually, that might have been a thing. Although, what's he going to... Oh, he could kill the objective with a bad Santa. Yeah, that might work, actually. And then he would be able to clear off that Gorgon with the Victor. So this other Gorgon's right there, or this other Griffon's right here, and then I've got two Griffons right there to, like I talk about, kind of like slip right into that position. I didn't quite put them close enough, but I'm fine with that. So his play, Victor goes up and starts splattering Griffons, and then these other Griffons start moving on up. And he's like, well, that's lame. So he takes this other Victor, and I think he lands. Let's see what the next turn looks like. He comes up and splatters the other Griffon that was coming forward. Basically splattered the two Griffons that were in there. This Victor on the left over here, who was force locked, he killed the Gorgon. As soon as he killed the Gorgon, the other Griffon moved right in to contest that zone. And he never got away to contest this zone right here. He also didn't get away of contesting that circle on the left, so I scored 2 points on his turn, and one on scenario. However, this is an issue for this Colossal list. He got to go first, and I think the big takeaway from this is that Harkevich has to put up mobility, he has to put up broadside, and they have to walk forward and shoot. They cannot sacrifice movement and shoot. And honestly, one of them probably has to run. I think two of them can sacrifice movement and shoot, and one of them has to run. I think that's kind of there's a middle ground between putting out damage and controlling the field and grabbing territory and real estate. And I think that might be where the middle ground is, because walking up 6 and shooting is actually okay if you ran the turn before. You should still be able to get a good amount of ground. He's going to have to, in the future, use his feet to grab territory and not lose on scenario and plan on just being aggressive. I think that's the only way to go with this whole thing is you gotta rely on your armor. And if something can crack your armor and you can't kill it with incendiary fire rolls, I think that's probably a bad place to be. I mean, basically what I'm talking about is medium-based infantry. I'm worried about the Madrax and the... I'm worried about the Madrax, and I'm worried about the Man of War, the Chosen, and the things that don't die to fire rolls but can crack victors. Especially the Conquest over here is not going to benefit from the feat, so it's not a good giveaway piece. It's a hard hitter though. It has red line, so it has +2 strength, which makes it a POW 25, which is ridiculous. Also, mat fixing is a little bit of an issue. They have flare. There are things that need fixing in this list that require resources, and every resource is 33% of the list. So I'm not sure how it's going to play out in the big scheme of things. I definitely think it has things it likes playing into. If I brought Shadows and I didn't bring Assyria, it would just drift 5-inch AoEs all over the board until all my Mage Hunters were dead, and I probably wouldn't be able to crack it on feat turn. I'm having a hard time thinking of what's going to crack that on feat turn. And Infiltrators coming in at POW 16 with, say, a Lara 2 or a Goreshade, I don't think they're going to do enough against Armor 23 to actually physically matter and not get trampled over or shot to death again. But I like the list. Fun game, good opponent. Really quick lesson. Tried to talk a lot to make it so there's more to the game than there actually was in this one. But thank you for watching. A lot more is coming down the pipeline, and Happy New Year.